I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Sergey. Sergey, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, I'm fine, thanks. I'm tired a little.
A little tired. You were not feeling well last week, right?
Yes, but today I'm okay.
Today you're better. Good to hear. Vlad, good evening.
Morning.
Good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
And Olga, good evening.
Good evening.
And did I miss anybody? Not so far. As you are coming in today, we would like you to look at the list of foods or dishes that you see on the screen. Can everybody see the tab called Chicken Kiev?
Yes, we can see.
Perfect. I'm going to give each of you 2 of these dishes before we get started to do a little bit of research. So, Irina, we're going to give you Dungeness crab and Vermont cheddar. So, Irina, you will have those 2 dishes, Dungeness crab and Vermont cheddar. We're going to give everybody about 5 minutes to research what these foods are, okay? Nastya, we're going to give you buffalo wings and fig Newtons. Sergey, we're going to give you Ruskia pierogi, pardon my pronunciation, and Boston cream pie. Vlad, we are going to give you Kentucky Wonders and Boston beans. And Olga, you get Welsh rarebit and Vidalia onions. So you have about 4 or 5 minutes to research your 2 dishes, and we'll ask you to tell us a little bit about those dishes when we get started here in just a few minutes. Is that understandable to everybody?
Yes.
Look them up on the internet. What are they, and where does their name come from? Very good. Professor Storm is going to keep us all perfectly on track here.
And I think I will find.
Do you want to do gumbo?
Sure, I could do gumbo and
maybe key lime. Exactly. We've been teaching together too long. You can tell, right?
We have to talk about key lime pie. There's no way.
And I'll do Philly cheesesteaks at the end.
Right.
And I'm good till about 10:20, Carly, and then we'll pass it over to you.
Sounds good. Oh goodness. I'm trying to save pictures to my desktop, and this computer, everything isn't finished.
I use Finnish quite regularly in my machine translation course, Carly, as an example of how badly machine translation does on agglutinative languages.
That's very true. It's dangerous to try to translate Finnish using Google Translate.
We'll give everybody about 2 more minutes. All right, Irina, are you ready?
I think yes.
There's a good English phrase, as ready as you'll ever be, right? Maybe not completely ready, but almost. Tell us what Dungeness crab is, Irina.
I'm trying to explain. The Dungeness crab. It's a common name of from the town of Dungeness. Yes.
Yes. So it's a tiny little town in the state of Washington.
Yes, in the state of Washington, and today's name of this place is Old Town Dungeness, and it was the first place with commercial harvesting of the crab was done, and this is very important. This is very important. Excuse me. Goods. Yes, very important goods for this place, and in the state of Washington's territorial waters, it was the first shellfish harvested commercially on the North Pacific coast.
Very nice. Yeah. So it's a very tasty kind of crab meat. Here, I will show you a picture of some of the crab meat. These are very, very tasty. So these are very famous crabs in the state of Washington, right? So up in the Pacific Northwest, not the city of Washington, which is the capital of the United States, but the state of Washington. And these crabs have a wonderful, wonderful flavor. And these are crab cakes, very tasty, fried up. And you're exactly right. It's named after the city of Dungeness, and a beautiful place where they grow the crabs. Irina, tell us about Vermont cheddar.
What about? Okay. Wikipedia said to me that cheddar cheese is yellow of white sort type of cheese, and it's a natural product. Good. Yes. Tavar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Good product. Yep.
Yes, it's originating in the English village of Cheddar in Somerset. Cheeses of the style are produced beyond this region and in several countries around the world. And since Cheddar is a village, yes?
Yeah.
It's the name of village.
Yeah. So, and cheddar is the type of cheese. And why would it be called Vermont cheddar, Irina? What's Vermont?
Vermont? I don't know. I can't find.
So it's actually one of the U.S. states, right? So up in the Northeast.
Yes, of course, of course.
Yeah, so now you're beginning to get the secret to this list. It's all sorts of foods that are named after places, right?
And Vermont has three creameries that produce what is regarded as first-class cheddar cheeses: the Cabot Creamery, which produces a 6-month-old private stock cheddar, the Grafton Village Company, and the Shelburne Farm.
Very nice. And so I put a picture of some Vermont cheddar cheese on the board. Today we will all be very hungry because we will talk a lot about food. Now, Irina, tell me about a famous cheese in Russia. Is there a famous place that I could get?
The name
I will tell you about one place I went. When I was in Novosibirsk, we went south to the Altai, and we drove through the city of Bisk. And they told us that there was a very good cheese that they made, Biski Sir, right?
Yes, it's a little town in Altai. Yes.
Down the Altai, and very famous for its cheese. Is there another cheese in Russia that's very famous?
Yes, of course, and we have Russian cheese. It's the name of this sort. I don't think it's very famous, but very popular.
Very popular. And is it Ruski Sir in Russian?
Yes, Russian, the name
Russian.
of this sort. Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Excellent. Good topic.
Holland cheese too. It's very popular too.
Dutch, yes, from Holland. Cheese from Holland, or we might say Dutch.
But
Dutch
cheese
cheese
is made in Russia.
Yeah. In Holland, yeah. So the country is Holland, right, or the Netherlands, right, Nederlanden. But the adjective is actually Dutch in English. So we would say either cheese from the Netherlands or Dutch cheese. Very nice. I'm hungry already. Nastya, thank you, Irina. Very good. Now, good overview. Nastya, tell us about buffalo wings.
Okay, I will try. So, buffalo wing is the chicken wing section that is generally deep fried and coated in vinegar-based cayenne pepper, hot sauce, and butter in the kitchen.
Very nice. So will it be spicy to the taste?
Yes, it's very spicy.
Yeah, so if it's got cayenne pepper and hot sauce, yeah, it's going to be very spicy. And why is it called, here, I'll put a picture up for you here so you can see it. Why is it called buffalo wings? Do you know, Nastya?
Unfortunately, I can't to find it. But
And Professor Storm put a little hint in the chat there.
They are named after Buffalo, New York.
Yeah, so they first appeared in a bar, we think, in Buffalo, New York. That's a very famous city in New York. And these are very popular in the United States. This is a real fad. That's a good word. I can go here in Texas and find a restaurant that makes nothing other than buffalo chicken wings. Do they look tasty to you, Nastya?
For me, no, because
No.
I'm vegetarian.
Okay. I forgot that.
They look like a vegetarian's nightmare, perhaps.
Yeah, not good for a vegetarian.
Yeah, exactly.
But the next dish we gave you is fig Newtons. That would be okay for a vegetarian. What are fig Newtons, Nastya?
A fig Newton is a pastry bar filled with fig jam.
Yeah, very nice. A type of cookie almost that are very popular. I'll put a picture up.
It looks tasty for me.
Does it look familiar?
These are nice.
So many cultures have a cookie like this, right, with some dough and then a fruit filling. And in this case, the fruit is from figs, right, fig jam. And they're very soft, they're very doughy, and kids eat them all the time. You give them to little children. Carly, did you eat them as a child?
Yes, I did. And I was actually just going to write in the chat that sometimes, well, I haven't seen these in Finland, but in the United States, I would sometimes buy these because my son was a very picky eater. He wouldn't eat a lot of fruit, and so I would sometimes I would give him a treat, and then it would also have fruit in it. So
Exactly.
it's a cookie, but at least it has a bit of fruit.
Has a bit of fruit in it. Very nice. Well, Nastya, thank you. Excellent. Who's up next? Sergey.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about this dish that even the name sounds odd to you, right?
Русские
yeah, pierogi in Russian, pierogi in English, which we get from Polish, right? What type of food is that, Sergey?
Русские пироги, I think it's a common name of different Russian dishes. But as usual, русские пироги has different things inside, such as meat, fish, apples, strawberry, and many other things inside. And also we can name, also we can say русские пироги about bread sometimes.
Yeah.
All that I can say about русские пироги.
Yeah, and in English, unfortunately, we get the word from Polish, right? We call them pierogis, I think is the pronunciation, but that comes from the iz polskiego języka. What is your favorite filling? So those things that go inside are called fillings, right? You said some meat or some fish or some apples. What is your favorite? What is your favorite, Sergey?
My favorite fillings is meat with potato.
Meat with potato. Very nice. Very tasty. I'm still hungry.
It makes me strongly.
Yes, it makes good for your health. Do you fry them or boil them? How do you cook them? Ruskие пироги. How do you cook them?
Myself?
Or in Russia?
In Russia.
In Russia in general, how do you cook them? In water, or do you fry them? Do you grill them?
I'm sorry, but I don't understand.
Yes. How to prepare? How would you prepare them? So they have dough, they have the fillings. Then how do you cook them? How do you prepare them?
It's difficult to. I see, but it's difficult to explain how do we cook them.
In Poland, they boil them. In Poland, they put them in water, right? Hot water. And they boil them. But I think in Russia, maybe you put them in a pan on the stove and maybe to grill them, жарить, to cook them that way.
Скорее печь.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Everybody's thinking about food now. Everybody's hungry.
I'm hungry.
Sergey, tell me about Boston cream pie. What is Boston cream pie?
And what about Boston cream pie? I found such description about this dish, and as I understand, indeed, it's not.
Right. It's not a pie. What is it?
It's not a pie. It's a cake. It's not a pie, but indeed it's a cake. And as we can see, there are some layers of sponge cake, and something between them. Maybe
Yeah. Excellent. And what is that in the middle? So sponge cake?
vanilla
And-
custard.
Yeah, very nice. Sort of a custard or pudding.
Custard. And
Carly, would it be a custard?
Yeah, I'd say it would be a custard. If you wanted to make
Okay.
it easy, you could use
and there is a chocolate top on it.
Yes, very much. And does it look tasty, Sergey? Would you eat that?
I would like to eat.
Yeah, I would like to as well. And it's got cake and a beautiful chocolate. We would call it frosting. That's the stuff that goes on the top. And a wonderful custard inside. So it's got all these wonderful flavors, right? Different flavors that are here. And why is it called Boston cream pie, Sergey? Why Boston?
Why Boston?
Yeah.
I didn't found any information about it.
I think it was first invented at a hotel in Boston, maybe. I think possibly is it the Parker House Hotel or the Parker Hotel in Boston, and that's where they first made this cake. Very nice.
That's the reason.
Everybody's just looking at the pictures. Vlad, tell us about Kentucky Wonders, Vlad. What is that?
Kentucky Wonders. No shame on me because I didn't find any proper information, but I think Kentucky Wonders looks like sort of regular beans, which American cooked. I don't know.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah, it's type of bean.
Yeah.
And I'm not from Kentucky, so I don't know Kentucky Wonders, but I know Boston beans. Did you find Boston beans, Vlad?
Yes, Boston beans. It's a kind of it's a variety of baked beans, which usually sweetened and flavored with something.
Yeah, I'm going to show you a picture of Boston baked beans right there. Can you see that, Vlad?
It looks more familiar.
It looks familiar. What does it look like? Is that very similar to Russia?
I don't know. I have some associate in my head with something.
Yeah. So you said it's beans and it's flavored with, I think it's brown sugar, maybe, right?
Yeah. Yes. Sugar.
Yeah.
Sugar.
There it is. And specifically a brown sugar. But there's, I think, I'm not sure, no tomatoes. So you see it and it's red, and maybe you think tomatoes, but actually it's brown sugar.
Yeah.
Vlad, do Russians eat beans in a lot of dishes in Russia?
It's hard to judge because every family, I think, has a different tradition. But in our family, we eat beans mostly in the soup.
In the soup, yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. Do you like beans, Vlad? Do you like to eat beans?
Yeah. It's pretty.
Okay. Yeah. Boston baked beans, they look very tasty, don't they? Olga, tell us what Welsh rarebit is, Olga.
Welsh rarebit. Do you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, go ahead, Olga.
It's a dish from Georgia, as I remember. From Georgia. It's true. Sorry, from Great Britain.
From Great Britain.
From Great Britain. This dish made with melted cheese, like cheddar cheese, and other ingredients like eggs, savory sauce, mustard, and it's served with slices of hot bread, of toasted bread.
Mm-hmm.
It's like snack.
Yeah, or maybe even a meal, maybe a light meal. And I put a picture up, Olga. Can you see that?
Yeah, I see.
Does it look tasty? Would you like to eat it?
Maybe sometimes.
Yeah, so that's a cheese sauce, yeah, and maybe with some mustard or some eggs in it. And you can see the bread right there. Very nice. And the other dish we asked you to think about was Vidalia onions. What did you find out about Vidalia onions?
Vidalia onions, it's sweet onions, which grown in Georgia, but all people in the world like it, and it's a sort of onion.
Yeah, very nice. It's a type of onion or a sort of onion, and it's very sweet. Olga, are Russian onions very sweet?
Sladkий, очень.
In Russia, are they sweet?
Sorry, what did you say?
So in Russia, are the onions very sweet, or do they have a bite to them?
We have this type of onion in Russia, and in some place you can buy it and use to prepare in salads or what you want.
Ah, very nice. Yes, so a very popular vegetable to use. Very nice. Carly, I've gone ahead and turned the con over to you, so we'll let you talk about gumbo, and I'll get a gumbo picture up for you before
I've got one.
You got one? Good. All right. I'm going to sign off and put you in Carly's good hands.
Sounds good. So we've got quite a few things on the list here, some pretty good foods. First of all, has anybody heard of gumbo? I will show you a picture. Can everyone see it?
Yes.
So what do you think it is? Just looking at this picture, how would you describe it?
It's a soup.
Yeah, it's definitely soup. We also have a different term for a soup if it's very thick. You know, if there's less of the broth, less of the liquid, and a lot more of the other ingredients, we call it a stew. So this is a specialty in the state of Louisiana. And what kind of ingredients do you see?
Sausage.
Sausage.
Sausage. What else?
Where is meat?
Pepper.
Pepper.
Paper.
Peppers.
Rice.
Rice. There's also seafood in here. Different types of seafood, and onion.
Celery.
Something like broccoli.
It's green onion. There's also something called okra.
Rice.
I don't know if you've heard of this vegetable. Has anyone heard of okra?
White rice.
And white rice. And so usually there's also shrimp as well. Shrimp and crab or crawfish, different types of seafood. So it's seafood and sausage and vegetables all in this soup. And so I told you that it's a specialty of the state of Louisiana. And this is a really difficult question. I don't expect anybody to know it. But where do you suppose the name gumbo comes from? I didn't know this either, so I had to look it up. Think about Louisiana, and there are a lot of Creole in Louisiana. This is considered a Creole sort of specialty. So what was interesting to me is it seems as though the name for this dish, gumbo, was from an African, one of the tribes in Africa, one of their words for okra. I wrote okra in the chat. It's that type of green sort of vegetable. I don't know if you have it in Russia.
It's okra too, because Google said it's okra in Russian.
Yeah. Do you know it? Are you familiar with it? No?
I never see it. It's the first time when I see it.
Yeah, let me share this here.
Okra, it's like hibiscus.
Sorry, just a second.
What is
This is okra pods.
Mm.
These here. It's very unusual. But anyway, so supposedly the name for gumbo comes from the word for okra in some Central African tribes. So if you think about it, you think about slavery in the South, things like this, the recipes that people brought with them, or the recipes that people made, those created these sorts of dishes that are popular now. Vlad, this is actually my computer that I'm using. I blame this wallpaper on my boyfriend. That's his wallpaper. And the other one, this picture is not very clear, but it's called key lime pie. Has anyone heard of this dessert or seen it? No?
It's a cake from American comedy films, no?
It's probably been in some sorts of films like that. It's not a cake, it's a pie.
It's a pie, yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. It's a pie, and it's made with egg yolks and lime juice, and I don't know what it is in Russian. I don't remember the word, but it's sweetened condensed milk. It's the milk that comes in a can. That's very, very sweet.
Сгущенное молоко.
Yes, сгущенное молоко. Yeah. And with meringue on top, and it's really delicious. And this supposedly came from Key West. Does anyone know where Key West is? Florida. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's pie and it should be sweet. Yes. I love pie, and usually also anything with chocolate, so this is fun to talk about for me. Anyway, this was supposed to be just a bit of a warm-up exercise for class. So the idea was, as the warm-up, we have this list of different types of foods that many people in America know. And some of these were taken from different countries, different cultures, and sort of Americanized, you know, where we have our own versions of we call them pierogi, right? Americans would call them pierogis. Yeah. But then we also, yeah?
Do you heard about chili Mexican food? When I was in the United States, it was a very popular dish, chili.
Oh, yeah.
It's a kind of meat and vegetable in some special Mexican sauce.
Mm-hmm.
It's very delicious.
Yeah, what's interesting, it's really interesting that you bring that up, actually, because that's more of a Tex-Mex dish. It's not exactly like a Mexican dish, but it's like a stew. It has beans and meat and a tomato-based sauce and lots of different spices, but it's really delicious. So it's a Tex-Mex sort of dish. So the reason I thought this warm-up was interesting is because many people say that we have no national cuisine in America. I've heard this a lot. And to some extent, there's some truth to it. But I also have to say, what about our foods that we have for Thanksgiving? What about our special casseroles and our special barbecue foods and things? We do have things that we do. But, oh no, the hamburger, come on. A hot dog? No, I'm thinking especially Thanksgiving foods or baked beans, the different types of desserts. Of course, we Americans love desserts, so we have millions of different varieties of them. So anyway, that was just the warm-up exercise. I want to go now to talk more about a bit about your assignments that you did in the blog. So you compiled some lists of the cultural gaps, and if you could, I would like to hear more about those now, and to see if we had any common themes amongst you all. So who would like to begin with some cultural gaps? And then we can compare. You can tell me what is considered a cultural gap in Russia, and I can tell you if such a thing exists in America, if you don't already know. Maybe we could begin at the bottom of the list, if that's okay. Olya, will you start? Will you start with your list of cultural do's and don'ts in Russia? Olya, are you there?
Sorry, you asked me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. About cultural what?
Do's and don'ts. Like your homework that you posted in the blog.
I'm so sorry, I didn't do it.
Okay. So let's move on then to Vlad. You can tell us about what you posted in the blog. But your microphone is muted, Vlad, just so you know.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Tell us about what you wrote in the blog. So remember last week we talked about cultural gaps.
Yes.
Cultural gaps. So your assignment was to talk about what a cultural gap is and give some examples. For example, things not to do in Russia.
Yes.
So you're going to tell me about what you wrote.
Sorry, but I didn't prepare the list. I just read what other people do and make some comments.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
you can come back to that then. Sergey?
Mm-hmm. Should I give some example?
Yeah, give some examples, please.
For example, in Russia, you should not give your passport to a police officer if there's some money in this passport, because this action may be considered as an attempt to bribe. Unfortunately, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, in Russia, we try not to give something to another person when we stay from opposite разные стороны.
Different sides.
Different sides of threshold.
Oh, okay. Opposite sides of the threshold. Yeah. So,
opposite
for example,
sides of threshold.
Mm-hmm.
It's very bad. It's very bad if you do it.
Mm-hmm.
For
Why?
example, why?
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I know that it is bad. And I can give another example. In Russia, it's bad to give as a gift knives to somebody. We don't give knives as a gift to somebody.
Oh, giving knives to somebody.
Giving knives to.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. Although I wouldn't probably bring a knife anyway if it were me. Thanks for inviting me to your home. Here's a knife. I mean, that's interesting though. Good, good, good. Nastya, what were some of yours that you wrote?
Okay, can I read from the blog?
It'd be better. It's better if you try to remember.
It's impossible.
You can try. I have faith in you.
Okay. In the book I write that if you want to visit Russia, don't come to visit empty-handed. You can bring something for the
For the host or the hostess.
yeah, exactly. What next? Don't forget to take your shoes off. When you go to somebody, you must to take off our street shoes.
Yes. Take off your street shoes at the door and then put on slippers.
Yes. Don't undress it. Undress. Don't undress.
Oh,
Yes.
don't undress.
Because in Russia, especially women, dress very good, very nice. Even they go to the shop, to the work, and another case.
Yes, it's definitely true. I've witnessed that. I have sort of an interesting story where I went to a grocery store in St. Petersburg and I wore a pair of sweatpants and a sweater. And people looked at me like I was a homeless bag lady or something. That was pretty good. So after that I knew, okay, I will never wear sweatpants to the store again. Unless it's a very, very stylish sweatshirt. Anything else?
Yes. Don't do that. If you ask a lady out, don't accept her for herself. We have a big discuss with us about this topic. But in Russia, most of the men can to pay for women because they are gentlemen.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear
I
everybody.
know in American it's not popular.
Well, it really depends on the situation, though. You know, if a man and a woman go on a date, then the man should pay for the woman. If there's interest there. If there's no interest, the woman might say, "Let me pay for my meal. Let me pay for my meal." Or sometimes people will alternate. You pay now, I pay later, something like that. But usually, especially the first date, it's considered polite for the man to pay. And that's what I prefer, honestly. The man should pay on the first date. Otherwise, it doesn't look very good. Otherwise, it seems as though you're friends. You're just friends. Something like that. And Irina?
I wanted to say about payments too, but now I want to say about credit card. It's not popular in Russia, and if I was an American citizen, I think it was maybe it was surprising for me that in Russia all people don't like to use credit cards, and they don't like to take credits in the banks. In Russia, if you take a credit, it means that you have a big problems. You can't pay for yourself. You can pay for your room, for your plate. You can't buy something big like maybe computer or telephone, and you're really poor man.
Is there a difference though? Because for example, here or in the United States, everyone carries a debit card usually. So there's a difference between the debit card and the credit card. Do people carry debit cards or usually just cash?
We have the most popular in Russia is a cash. It's not comfortable for me, but I understand if I will take my debit card in many shops, they haven't got a device for payments in debit card and credit card, on the cash.
Yeah, that's definitely really interesting, because it's very different in the United States, because most everyone pays by debit card, for example. And obviously the difference between the debit card and the credit card is which account the money is withdrawn from, for example. And it's the same here in Finland, luckily, because I never carry cash, because I would lose it. It would just disappear. And so it's so true. It's so true. And so I just carry a debit card. But
when I read about USA and migration of Russians into this country, I met one expression, I don't remember, but something like, if you haven't got a credit history in USA, you are not a human, and you haven't got a history, you can't live in this country if you haven't got a credit history.
You're definitely right. I mean, you can, but it would be very difficult, because as Vlad said, maybe Vlad can tell us a little bit more about it, you have to have a credit card or a debit card, some sort of card, to be able to do anything, it seems as though. But Vlad, can you tell us a little bit about what you wrote in the chat?
What can I say?
Well, were you trying to book a motel, for example, and you couldn't do it?
It's almost at any place I heard only one thing. Please, I need your credit card. Damn it, I haven't credit card. I'm just a tourist. I got only cash. And at any place, and especially at some even small motels, you need credit cards. And I was wondering about.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, most places do take cash as well if you're paying in person, if you go there in person. But naturally, you can forget about it. If it's internet, you can't just order something and pay for it when it comes to your door.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way, really. And I'm also really interested by something that Sergey wrote about the strachnaya. I've never done this before, but I'm sure I've been late. Can you tell us about that?
Russian tradition, little Russian punishment, comic punishment, just a joke.
Is it usually just a punishment, as we say, sort of with sarcasm, just for men or for women as well?
It's like a fine. It's like a fine for guests.
Like a straf, yeah. But I mean, say if I was late 1 hour, would I have to do this because I'm a woman, or not? Or is it just for men?
Of course, this punishment may take place even only in parties with alcohol. But if there is no any alcohol in our party, you will not be punished by such a way.
Yeah, actually, vodka shots are kind of difficult. They burn. So I can't do it. One interesting thing is that it's also considered a cultural gap, for example, if someone is late in the United States, because as we talked about last time, punctuality and time is very, very important. So for example, oftentimes if a student is late to class in the United States, a physical class, the professor will call attention to that student and say, class begins at 9:15. Either show up on time or don't show up at all. I mean, sometimes, depending on the professor, how strict he or she is. Some professors will lock the doors when the class has begun because time is very important. It's considered a sign of disrespect if you show up late. But it really depends on the person, and definitely for a business meeting, you wouldn't want to be late. It's just considered impolite. It's something interesting that I found on the internet that I would like to hear your opinion about this. This picture is a little large, so you might want to use that small magnifying glass and minimize it to a smaller percentage, maybe 231% or less. So can somebody please tell me what you see in this picture, who you see in this picture?
It's a wife of Barack Obama.
It's the Queen of the Great Britain, Elizabeth II, and Michelle Obama, yes?
Exactly, exactly. And why would I show you this picture when we're speaking of cultural gaps?
She takes the Queen on her back, I don't know.
Yeah. So this is the Queen's shoulder. This is where her back begins. You could still say back. She put her hand on the Queen's back. She touched the Queen. And this happened in the year 2009. It was, I believe, a meeting of the G20. And reporters were talking and talking and talking about this after it happened. And why? Why is this such a big deal?
It was a shock for them because it's I don't know in English, неприлично.
Unacceptable?
Unacceptable, it's unnormal, yes, for English people, I think. No?
Yes. Yes, well, perhaps not with just English people, but definitely with the royal family in Great Britain, especially with the Queen.
And she can't touch her, yeah?
Yeah, you're not supposed to. Yeah. But I was reading that the Queen touched or put her hand on Michelle Obama's back first. And in America, it's completely normal to reciprocate. If someone puts their arm around you and if you feel comfortable, if you feel as though that you're friendly with this person, then it's perfectly normal to reciprocate. That people and again, reciprocate, this is a really good word. Reciprocate. To reciprocate means to return the gesture. To reciprocate means to do the same. So she put her arm on her back, and Michelle Obama reciprocated. She did the same thing. And I think, what was it? An official spokesman for the royal family said, very diplomatically, that they hadn't seen such close relations or such friendly relations between the Queen and a First Lady before, like the first time. But it seems as though it was okay. But my question to you all, I would like to hear your opinions about, would this be acceptable in Russia? Could I put my arm around President Putin if I were a powerful person, if I were some sort of leader, if I were Michelle Obama or if I were Barack Obama? Well, that's sort of if the relationship was better, perhaps. Is that acceptable? Can someone put his or her arm on the president or on the president's former wife, former first lady? That is my question.
Of course, it's an informal gesture, and in Russia too. And I think you can do something like this only in informal area, maybe not in diplomatic meeting.
Wow. Okay, I see. But
Only with familiar people.
only with familiar people. So with the president's own friends, or what about with his the ministers in his cabinet? Would you do that?
Minister cabinet.
With his with the other people in his administration that he serves with?
You understand?
No. Like for example, with members of his government, with members of his party, would he, for example, put an arm around them, or is that still too formal, too informal?
Sorry, excuse me, but your voice is too. We don't hear you.
We can't hear you yet.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Much better.
Yeah. So what I wanted to know was, would the president do this? Would the president do this with his own ministers or people serving in his administration? You don't know? Because I could definitely see the former President Bush. I could see him doing this. I bet he would. Bet he would walk up to somebody, smack him on the back, and say, "Hey, Vlad, how's it going?" or something like that. I don't know. I'm just guessing because the former president was much more informal, and I think to a certain extent Barack Obama is as well. It just doesn't seem that there's as much power distance relationship there. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to move on to something else. I wanted to show you something that talks about xenophobia and racism in America, which some of you know a little bit about it, some of you perhaps don't. But I want to show you an advertisement that played during the Super Bowl. So obviously, for those of you who don't know, the Super Bowl was the most important football game of the entire year. And during the Super Bowl at halftime, at the break between, I don't know, halfway through the game. So we call it halftime, the break halfway through the game. They show commercials, and the commercials are very expensive. It's a very big, important thing to have your commercial played during the Super Bowl. This is an ad by Coca-Cola, and I want you to watch it now, and then we're going to talk about your reactions. So I'm going to mute my microphone for a second, and I will play this video for you. Okay. I wrote my initial questions in the chat because this was a very controversial commercial in America, and I want controversial for me.
Okay.
Yeah, controversial. Sure. So who wants to begin? I want to hear your impressions, what you think of it, basically. Did you like it or not? And the message of this video, what is the overall message? I'm going to start this time with Olya. Your microphone is still muted.
About video. I think the main idea is all culture and all nation and all families drink a cola, and it's like a kind of peace.
Yeah, so an emphasis on diversity, right?
Sorry?
An emphasis on diversity. Diversity. Как будет diversity? Разновидность или как?
Diversity.
Emphasis on diversity. And did you like the video?
Yes. I don't like the idea about Coca-Cola, but the video is sympathetic.
Yes, yes. Very nice video. Vlad, what about you?
No, I have a neutral opinion about the video, but I can guess why it's controversial video. Because you know, many countries with a strong cultural traditions perceive American pop culture and American products like interventions in their culture. For example, countries like India, China, I don't know, Russia, yes, and so on. Yeah.
What's interesting about this, though, is I can definitely see your point there, but the children singing in this video are bilingual. They are, as far as I know, they are American citizens, but they are bilingual, so they're singing in their other language. And so they are, as far as I know, American. So, but my point is that this is controversial in America, probably outside of America as well, but in America, there's a lot of discussion going on about it. Sergey, what do you think?
I think that the main idea of this video is Coca-Cola is everywhere. Coca-Cola is associated with your childhood, with your friends, with everything in your life. I don't like Coca-Cola.
Yeah. For me, it's
so I don't like this video.
Yeah.
I like it.
The controversy of this video was not about. So some people don't like cola, obviously, right, or Coca-Cola because it's high in sugar, it's unhealthy. Yes. But the reason this video is so controversial is because of the fact that what song are they singing?
What
Song? The song?
What song?
That America is a beautiful country. You know, it's something like
this. The song is called "America the Beautiful." America the Beautiful, and it is a song that practically every American knows. It is as widespread as the national anthem, but it is not the national anthem. The national anthem is the Star-Spangled Banner. That is the national anthem. I have heard some people say that America the Beautiful is like the second national anthem. I've heard this. So it's a song that everyone knows about America's past. Yes, but it's a very beautiful song, and the controversy was it starts out in English, and then what happens?
It continues in different languages.
Exactly, it continues in different languages. And Nastya, can you guess why this was controversial? Why does it matter that it continued in different languages?
Actually, I don't know what is common between Coca-Cola and this video.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult, but okay. So first, tell me about your impressions of the video. Did you like it? Why or why not?
Yes, it's a beautiful video, but yeah, I think it's not for reclaim of Coca-Cola.
Yeah, so you think it didn't actually have much to do with. Yeah.
Неподходящая реклама. I don't know how to say it.
It doesn't fit. Неподходящий. It doesn't. It isn't fitting or it doesn't fit, like it doesn't correspond to the video. Coca-Cola is one thing and the video is showing another. Yeah, I think the message was, or it was supposed to be, that Coke has been around for such a long time that Coke has become an American tradition or something. And it's, well, let's let Irina continue with this before I explain too much.
Yes, I understand. Maybe it's not truth, but I think that this video smells of racism, because I think it's not nice to exploit national scene to advertise the product of Coca-Cola. I think it's not nice, and I find the word. Sorry.
That's okay.
It's in English irrelevant and inappropriate. Yes.
Inappropriate.
Yes.
Yeah. So again, I'll go back to the reason this video was so controversial was because of the fact that it starts in English and it goes on to different languages. And Vlad put a really good question in the chat. What about American tolerance? People started spouting, I'll write this in here, spouting venom, which is very metaphorical here. People started being very angry about this commercial, saying that in America we speak English or get out. You know, or some people were saying that it was like a slap in the face to America, that these other countries hate us. Why are we showing someone singing about them and singing about us in another language? Or this is the other thing. The other assertion was that these people don't have the right to sing America the Beautiful in another language. So it was very hateful, but yet a lot of people spoke out against this hateful talk and said, this is a beautiful commercial. It celebrates what America is, what it is all about. Because what is America?
Polynational country.
Yes, exactly. I have a cover of a book here. If you see it, Who Built America? That's a good question.
Everybody.
Different
did.
nations.
Yes.
United Nations of America.
Yeah. And so, Vlad, your question was very good. What about American tolerance? These people were not being tolerant. And I was reading the comments to this video, and I was just horrified. I was really disappointed by what people were saying. But there was a lot of positive commentary as well. But typically people said, our ancestors came from Europe, and they built this country, blah, blah, blah. Who did they forget? Is everyone in America European or of European descent? What groups are we forgetting here? Can somebody tell me?
Repeat, please.
What groups are people forgetting? Not Americans are of European descent, rajskazhdenia or something, right? They're not all from European descent. What about these other groups? Who are these people? What color is their skin?
Oh,
Black.
yeah.
Afro-Americans.
Yeah, and what about Native Americans?
Indians.
Yes. Here's a really good.
Oh, of course.
Please minimize this so that you can see all of the text. So again, you'll have to reduce the size, make it smaller. So this says, so you're against immigration. Splendid. When did you leave? Or when are you leaving? Because we are all immigrants. The only real first Americans are the Native Americans, and that is this man right here. So, do you see what I mean? Do you understand my argument?
Yeah.
And luckily, it's not just me. I'm very happy that a lot of people seem to feel this way. So for every person who was making hateful comments, there were also others saying this is a beautiful video and America is, you'll have to reduce the size of this one as well, make it smaller. America as a melting pot. As a melting pot. Or I found another one, America as a salad bowl. These are metaphors that we can talk more about later. But right now what I'm interested in as well. Oh, and this also represents here we have this movement in the United States that's especially popular in the South, in the American South, where minorities make up a large percentage of the population, where there is a movement called English only. And so this sign is a very good representation of it. It says, "This is America. When ordering, please speak English." But does anybody know, is there a national language in America? Do we have an official language? What do you think?
English.
An official. Is it official, Vlad?
I'm not sure, but I know that you have a lot of Spanish people.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, it's like a second language.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's interesting is that no, we do not have an official national language. It depends on the state. States can come up with sort of bilingual policies. Bilingualism is very widespread, but there is no one national language. So you cannot technically say, speak English or get out. That's not correct. We have no national language. And there's a reason for that, because we are made up of minority groups. We were a nation of immigrants. It seems hypocritical to say that, doesn't it? I agree that there should be a common language. My personal opinion is that there should be a common language so that people can communicate. But it's also my belief that I will learn Spanish, you learn English. I think we should learn each other's languages. That's my point. That's good, right? It's respectful of one another. But now my next question for you guys, would such a commercial be aired in Russia? Would someone make such a commercial like this Coca-Cola commercial? Would someone make a similar commercial in Russia, but about Russian minorities?
Russian commercial just stupid.
No, but could it happen? Could it happen?
I don't think so.
And why?
I just can't imagine.
Let's hear from what do you think, Sergey?
No idea at all.
Yeah, I just wonder, what would happen if a commercial aired on television? So to air is to be shown. What would happen if a commercial was shown on television that celebrated the ethnic diversity of Russia and showed Armenians, showed Azeris, showed Chechens, showed Tatars, showed all these different groups? What would happen?
For me, it's okay.
For you, it's okay, yeah. So for some, it would be okay, and for others?
Maybe okay.
Maybe okay? What do you think, Nastya?
For me, it's okay too, but I think some people not okay about it.
Yeah, people would have different opinions. It could be like in the United States. Some people think it's good, some people don't, right? Yeah. Irina, what do you think?
I can't understand the question.
So if there were a commercial in Russia celebrating or saying it's very good that there's so much ethnic diversity and so much linguistic diversity, people from different places speaking different language, all being a part of Russia, what do you think would happen?
If you will have only one language or what?
No, maybe somebody else can help me explain. So imagine, in America we had the Coke commercial.
Mm-hmm.
What if there was a commercial like this, but made for Russia, made by Russians, made by a Russian for Russia that celebrated Russian minorities?
Russian local.
What would happen?
I can't imagine this situation, but we have many different minority language minorities and many nationals in our country, and all of these people they like to tell about their unique culture and language and their national, I don't know.
Traditions, yeah.
Yes, and they keep their traditional.
Yeah. And I like, again, yeah, sorry, please continue.
No, it's okay.
I like what Vlad wrote in the chat, is every nation or every country has idiots as well as good people. Every country. So it happens where some people make ignorant comments, but it's the same everywhere, unfortunately. All we can do is hope that with education, with time and with education, for example, I'm speaking of America. I'm speaking of America. I hope that as time goes by, as people become better educated, as people become more experienced with other cultures, with other people, that perhaps they won't say such things. Perhaps they won't think such things when seeing a commercial like this. That's my hope. I don't know. But I think this was a good discussion. It looks like class is about over. What I would like to do for the assignment is I'm going to ask you to think about the two conceptions of America as either a melting pot or as a salad bowl. I'm going to ask you to think about this and to maybe tell me the difference. And then I want you to expand upon your opinion. So you're going to talk about this commercial some more. In your homework assignment, you're going to talk about discussion of the melting pot or the salad bowl. That is America. It's a topic that is very widely discussed in academia. So it's a good thing to research, I think. And I want you to reflect upon your own experiences and tell me what would happen, or would it happen that such a commercial would be shown in Russia. So that's what the homework assignment is going to be. I will post it in the blog tomorrow.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions?
No, I guess.
No.
Okay. Well, I hope it was interesting for you today, and I'm glad to. What?
Really
Sorry, Vlad? Oh, good.
Interesting as usual.
Oh, good. And please, again, if you want to speak more in class, please say so, or use the, I don't know, the icon, you know, in the list, the name list, where you can raise your hand in the name list. Just tell me, or write me in the chat, because I want you to speak if you have something to say. Okay?
Okay.
No problem.
So.
Have a do.
Yeah. All right. Bye, guys, and I will see you next week.
Goodbye.
See you. Goodbye.
Thank you for that.
Bye-bye.
No problem. Thank you. Alicia, are you there? I was just going to sign out.